Last time I was like 055, 055. I'm like, nope, that's not.
All right. Are you guys ready?
Yes,
All right. So good afternoon, everybody. It is, what is it, March 11th. Welcome to Insight Policing Live and Uncut. So today we're picking on Rochester again because they can't stay out of the news. There was another incident of pepper spraying about last week. I think it was March 4th or something. Anyway, so we're going to watch that video and we're going to look at it from an Insight Policing perspective. So clearly the incident ended in a use of force. The agency was transparent about it, released the body cam footage right away, and which gives us an opportunity to look at what was going on, what led to the escalation of that encounter. It was clearly difficult. It was challenging for the officer. Was there conflict behavior? Is there something that he could have noticed? Could he have noticed that conflict behavior? Were there any questions that he could have asked to perhaps get to the bottom of the problem rather than resorting to hands-on? So I'm Megan Price, Director of the Center for Applied Insight Conflict Resolution. I forgot that. And we're joined today by Mike.
Mike Delaney, 30 years, law enforcement. I know you guys hear this every week, but I'm still in it, so happy to be here.
James Lawrence.
James Lawrence, happy to be here.
Also 30 years on, and Andre Brooks.
Good evening. Andre Brooks, also 30 plus years of law enforcement and still active.
Awesome. All right, so let's take a look at this video, guys, and see what's going on. Where is it?
Oh,
let me find it real quick. It seems to have disappeared.
All right.
Oops. Here it is. All right. This happened last week. My tech issues.
I know.
Sorry. Let's start from the beginning.
Steal from that store. Oh, come on. They said you stole. What'd you take? Tell me who you took. Oh, Rochester. Tell me the truth. No, I'm going to tell you. Okay, I don't have time for BS, so you better be quick with me. Yeah, okay, what's up? Okay, so I walked in the store. Right. Right there. He said I picked up something. Okay. Now, I cleared, if I picked up something. Yeah. Okay, let me show you. Yeah, show me. You got to show me. Yeah, just set the kid down. You'll be all right, honey. It's okay. Relax. What? He said I just stole something out of that store. And I promise on God, I didn't steal nothing. There's like diapers, lights, and stuff in this stuff. Nothing in this. What are they saying you stole? He said I stole. I don't even know. He just said he was going to call y'all. All right. All right, or if you're holding there, you can release it. Nothing, right? Yeah. Well, we got to talk with them and see. So I need you to hop in my car with your kid really quick, and we're going to go check. Sir. Fine. You know what? Even better? Hold on. Watch this. I'm going to have him check. Once he confirms you didn't steal, you're out of here. But you have to stay with me. What? Yep. Hey. Run through Mojo's here. Hey, come here. Stop. I didn't do. Stop. I did not do anything. Hey, we're in the parking lot here. Hey, okay. Put the kid down. Okay. Put the kid down. Put yours right in your back now. Put yours right in your... Stop. Turn around. Stop. Relax. Turn over so I can cuff you. We're going to cuff you. You need to stop. She's fine. Would you stop? I have to cuff you. I have to cuff you. I did not. Okay. Are you going to get on the ground? Get on the ground. Stop! What are you doing, man? Let go. Oh my God! Stop! What's wrong with her? Okay, you're under arrest. Stop moving. Stop moving. You're under arrest. Stop resisting. So I can figure this out.
Okay.
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting. All right. So how did that situation escalate?
Andre, you want to go first? You're on mute, Dre.
Sorry about that. Well, I thought it initially started out well, and that was the first time I actually seen the entire video. I didn't see the entire video before. And I mean, I think his initial approach, a little rough, but it started initially to go well. I think, once she showed him that she didn't steal anything, I think maybe he could have, he's like, okay, well, I get verifying that the crime has occurred, having his partner do that or having somebody else go check that. Asking her, I think, people are so afraid of the police now that when you're being detained for something that you didn't do, I think, it just creates such a situation for somebody, a panic, when you're telling people that you're going to, she's with her kid, she's being detained. I mean, you don't know what her situation is, but, I can see, him telling her that instead of maybe saying, hey, well, look, continue with the questioning about, what did they say you stole? Maybe you didn't know, do you have anything in your pockets? So I think the initial I won't say confrontation, but the initial stop started out well, but I just, at some point it just didn't go well when she ran. So
Yeah. So there we go. What did she do? Right? She ran. Okay. So what was the conflict behavior there?
So she's trying to defend. She didn't want to get into that car. When he said, look, let's get in the car. And he should have seen that. He should have continued to talk and said, okay, she doesn't feel comfortable getting in the car. She
Right.
voluntarily showed that bag, the contents of the bag, let him go through the bag. I don't know if he went, she had something in her pockets, but she was cooperating at that point. Just say, look, okay, I see you don't want to get in the car. Let's stand out here and talk a little longer. But he didn't recognize that. And I think when she got, when she began to defend and showed that conflict behavior and she ran off, he escalated as well. And I understand you go after her, but it could have been more of a conversation, more questioning, like, look, I mean, what made you want to run? I mean, look, we're just having a conversation. I'm here, I'm a neutral party. I didn't witness you do anything. I'm trying to find out what's going on. It's as important to clear you from this as it is to these people to charge you if you did something.
Yeah. So I think you bring up really important points. That one, she didn't want to stay with the cop. No, sir, I'm not staying with you. I do not want to get in your car. Right. And then he even says, I have a better idea. We'll just stand here. He actually says that, but she's already afraid, that she's being detained. And he says, my partner is going to talk to the store. We can just stay. And she jets. She goes, what? Right. And then she just jets. And that's her conflict behavior, fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. That's some flight. So the officer, right? I mean, he's got to run after her, right? Is that something that he must do?
Yeah, he's got to detain her once she takes off. I mean, he's kind of got a reasonable suspicion that why are you running? I mean, yeah. you got to stop her and at least find out. Like Mike said, if she showed the contents of the inside of the bag, who knows what she had in her pockets, But
turns out nothing.
Right. Well,
turns out, but running is suspicious behavior,
mm-hmm.
right? So the officer felt like, okay, he has a job to do. He's got a goal, right? He's got to finish his investigation, and her running is suspicious. So he's got to run after her. But once he gets there, Lawrence, right? What does he do right away?
Well, he grabs her.
Yeah.
And once he grabs her, I know we're judging it, but while he had her talking, he could have suggested some ways to resolve this. And if she knows, like she's saying she is, she's not guilty. It's like, look, if you say you didn't take anything and I'm verifying you did, I can't see anything. Let's just go and talk to the shop manager and see what he saw. And you're walking, I'll just give you and your kid a ride home. All right, because I can help you, get this cleared real quick. But when she bolted, it kind of wait a second, maybe she did take something, you know.
But then, like Andre said, though, maybe she took something, or maybe it is a fear of the police, and she has a 3-year-old child there. So maybe she's like, this isn't going to end well. You know, I just saw the other videos. Let me go. So who knows what she's thinking? But
who knows?
If the officer doesn't get curious and communicate properly, you just don't know.
Right.
So.
And Mike, you offered a really compelling question, you know, so rather than running up, you know, so she stopped in that restaurant parking lot. She wasn't really going anywhere. Her back was up against the glass of the restaurant, and he just went to arrest her. Right. So hands on. But Mike, you offered a really great question, which is, you know, what made you run? Right. So let's get curious about that conflict behavior. That might have revealed that she was scared about what might have happened if, you know, she was being detained by the police. Who knows? Maybe she had somewhere to be and she was like, I can't deal with this. This is going to, you know, or they're going to take my daughter. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the threat was that was motivating her to defend by running? But if he had gotten curious, he would have gotten some information, established that rapport that just asking questions can do, right? Opening up those lines of communication.
Yeah,
You're right. Go ahead, Lawrence.
With that baby screaming, it kind of made me pause every step of the way after that. Like, okay, hold up. Why did you run? What's going on? If you didn't take anything, let's just prove that and move on. We don't need to keep fighting like this. But when he grabbed her, if any of those things you guys were talking about were her fears, losing her baby, getting locked up or whatever, then she's going to be a fight person instead of a flight person. But running is,
Right.
Well,
because
you know,
her fears were being actualized right in front of her face. So
right.
go ahead.
I mean, what are you taught as a police officer in the academy? If somebody's running from you, there's a reason that they're running from you, you know? And you know, does she have a warrant for arrest? Maybe. Did she want to lose her? I mean, going to take a possibility of her losing a kid? Maybe. So I mean,
who knows until you ask those questions. And
right. No, you're right.
I will say, just like last week's video with the guy in the car and the deputy is begging him not to, you know, to give up, to not touch the gun. Until I took this class, you know, insight policing, and became a co-instructor, I mean, I started looking at things differently. And this is why we need to equip these officers with these skills. Because if you don't have to use your pepper spray or your aspartame or your taser, and God knows your gun, if you don't have to do that, if you can verbalize and think through a situation and you don't get hurt, the citizens don't get hurt, the community, I mean, why not do it? I mean, that is just so, I just don't understand why so many people, why this isn't mandatory, this type of training.
Because police are taught one way, man. We all know that, and that's got to stop. I mean, that kind of thinking has got to stop, you know. But it needs to start at the grassroots level of the academy, to trying to teach those guys and gals before they even hit the streets some critical thinking skills, you know, to de-escalate conflict, you know, in situations like this.
Yeah. Because every, you know, in every officer's career, more than once, you know, more than hundreds of times, they're going to encounter women like this, or citizens who are scared, or citizens who are resisting or non-compliant, you know. But it's so important to recognize that there is, just like you're saying, guys, that there is there's a reason, right? And so when you can ask, when you can notice that there's a reason, or that there's conflict behavior, get curious about what's the threat, what made running, what made fighting, what's making resisting right now the right thing to do, then you'll get that information that you can use to change the situation from one that's going downhill, that's compromising your career, compromising everybody's safety, to one that's to one that ends up more positively and leaves citizens, right, with a better impression of policing. And that's what we all want.
But also in that case, he could have gained a valuable ally. You know, if she lives in that community, you know, they're investigating a misdemeanor theft. I'm not sure what it was that was she was accused of stealing, but she may know about serious cases, robberies or murders. And, you know, why jeopardize that over that type of incident? You know, so the tools are there. You know, the opportunity is here. We just need more officers to step up and take the training.
Yeah, good point. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, Thursday at 4.
All right, y'all
Hey.
take care.